Let me get this. Let me look at Swell. Let me get this. I got it.
No, you gotta calm down. Listen to me.
Hey, come on now.
Hungry, you know what I'm saying? But the thing is, the thing I'm getting out of this, Roach took the fight. It gives him a chance to really...
During Tank's fight against Lamont Roach, his corner was a mess. Now, his trainer, Calvin Ford, has explained what really happened. Ford revealed that Tank made a surprising request mid-fight, throwing everything into confusion. The whole situation felt a lot like the chaos in Tyson Fury's corner during his first undisputed heavyweight championship bout with Alexander Usyk.
How to work. He's the champ, What's the best for him? I'm hoping that he do what I need him to do. You know what I'm saying? You see how I asked him, are you ready? You know what I'm saying? Because I need somebody that's...
In that fight, Tyson Fury kept his cool with his trainers, but his father, John Fury, created chaos by shouting over Andy Lee and Sugar Hill Stewart. This led to confusion, and Tyson misinterpreted their instructions, which contributed to his loss. Tank's situation was different. This time, he was the one causing the disorder. The fight wasn't going as expected, with Tank seemingly headed for a full 12-round battle for only the third time in his career.
I can see different levels. This time I had a chance to step back, and everybody keeps saying, they changing up stuff. No, we ain't changed up anything.
Tank is known for finishing fights in the 7th, 8th, or 9th round, so this was unusual. Lamont Roach was fighting back, and for once, Tank wasn't in full control. That had his corner on edge. As his team tried to guide him, Tank wasn't having it. He pushed back, raising his voice at Calvin Ford and shouting, "Listen to me." His team listened, but things didn't go well, and they could get even worse if his draw against Roach is overturned. At first, his coaches downplayed the incident, saying they'd handle it privately. But now, with the fight's results still up in the air, the situation has taken a new turn. Here's where things stand now.
Like punishment, you know what I'm saying? And then sometimes things got to happen to make you get back to where you belongs at, you know what I'm saying? And that was a good...
For Tank and his team, this was supposed to be just another routine fight. From the moment the matchup with Lamont Roach was announced, Team Davis showed no signs of concern. Roach was a known opponent with a strong record, but despite holding a title, he was viewed as the smaller, less threatening fighter.
Done 2 days before the fight.
Yeah. I ran water over it today, but I must say...
Despite being the underdog, Roach came in determined. He boxed smartly from the outside, and even when Tank forced him into a close-range fight, he didn't back down. By the final bell, the crowd at Brooklyn's Barclays Center was in shock. The fight had been 36 minutes of nonstop action, but as the judges tallied the scores, no one knew who would come out on top. At first, Team Davis seemed confident, waiting calmly, but their smiles quickly disappeared when the decision was announced, a majority draw.
Skillful. Both of them want to take certain chances. Some of them take chances, you know what I'm saying? It was like we was on a boat. And it was...
For the first time in his pro career, Tank walked away without a victory. Backstage, he slumped into his chair as his team, including Barry Hunter, shook their heads in frustration. Hunter, who took the lead role over Calvin Ford that night, felt the judges got it wrong. He admitted it was a tough fight, but he was convinced that Tank had pulled ahead in the final rounds, turning a close contest into a clear win. "We give credit to the other side," Hunter told ESPN, "but I thought the last 2 rounds sealed the deal. I thought we won."
Well, both of us back today was that again. Nobody won. No.
On the other side, many argue that Tank should have lost the decision, and that referee Steve Willis should have called a knockdown when he took a knee in the 9th round. One of the loudest voices has been former IBF, WBC, and WBO lightweight champion George Kambosos Jr., who has been going back and forth with Tank on social media. Speaking to Fight Hype after a workout for his March 22nd fight against Dud Yordan, Kambosos didn't hold back. "He just had a draw and lost a lot of stock," he said, wiping sweat from his face. What does he have to do? Rebuild his career? Since the fight with Roach, Tank has faced non-stop criticism from all sides of the boxing world.
What do you honestly think about this Davis versus Roach fight? Like, for you at 140, do you feel it's like you fighting a smaller guy at 130, 135? What's your thoughts on the move?
Both fighters have shown interest in a rematch, while the New York State Athletic Commission is reviewing the controversial ninth-round moment. That night, a replay system failure prevented officials from reviewing what could have been ruled a knockdown. If the call had gone Roach's way, he would have won by majority decision, making him a two-division world champion. Instead, Tank remains the champion, keeping his undefeated record intact. Meanwhile, the tension between Kambosos and Tank continues to grow. Their rivalry started on social media and is fueled by mutual disrespect. Tank doesn't see Kambosos as a real threat, while Kambosos has repeatedly criticized the level of opponents Tank has faced in his career.
Of the dates and against Lamont Roach, is it a big fight?
Well, I don't want to disrespect Lamont Roach. He's a very skilled fighter, super featherweight.
Tank has built his career on athleticism, patience, and knockout power, but on Saturday, he faced an opponent who wasn't intimidated and took his shots without much trouble. While his talent is undeniable, it's now clear that there are ways to challenge the WBA champion. Before Roach's strong showing, the only fighter to go the distance with Tank was Isaac "Pitbull" Cruz. Now, the focus is on Tank's next move. Will he push for an immediate rematch? If the fight happens again, the big question will be whether Roach fights with more confidence but less discipline. As for Tank, he'll need to prove he can make the right adjustments and adapt his style.
His own show, he runs his own race, and the fans, no matter what, the fans will see, obviously, what the fighter's doing. The fans see what's happening, and
Tank's ring IQ is often underrated. He's known for taking his time in the early rounds, studying his opponents, and making adjustments. But against Roach, he never quite found his rhythm. After the fight, Roach gained a lot of support. His friend, and Tank's rival, Shakur Stevenson, praised his performance and even offered to fight him next. While that matchup is intriguing, what fans really want is a Davis versus Roach rematch, especially after Roach made people question whether Tank is truly unbeatable. Meanwhile, boxing promoter Eddie Hearn has weighed in on the New York State Athletic Commission's review of the controversial fight between Tank and Roach.
What are your thoughts on the draw and who you think won?
Do you know what? Honestly, I haven't watched the fight. We had a show that night. I haven't watched the full fight. One thing that's kind of baffling is that it wasn't a knockdown. I mean, look, he wasn't hurt. There's no doubt about that. But if you take a knee in the fight...
Hearn doesn't think the New York State Athletic Commission will overturn the majority draw, but he does expect a rematch to happen. Tank and Roach fought to a draw last Saturday at Barclays Center, but the controversy over Tank taking a voluntary knee in the 9th round, without a knockdown being called, has led to an official review. According to Dan Raphael of Fight Freaks Unite, Roach's lawyer has filed an appeal to have the result changed to a win for Roach, whether by decision, knockout, or disqualification. Hearn acknowledged the appeal but told Fight Hype on Tuesday that he doesn't expect the commission to change the outcome.
To be honest with you, I mean, I think that's a warning, but it's a bit of a bizarre situation. For me, there was a lot of people in boxing that were saying that this is a really tough fight. Like, Lamont Roach is a serious fighter. I said it might not be the biggest profile fight, but it's actually quite a tough fight. And
Hearn doesn't believe the commission will overturn the result. "I don't think they will," he said. "Can the state force an immediate rematch? I don't think so. That's up to the governing body. The WBA oversees the lightweight title, meaning the commission can review the outcome but doesn't have the authority to order a rematch." Still, Hearn is confident that a second fight is coming. "From everything I'm hearing, the rematch is happening," he said. "I think it's basically a done deal." He also addressed the 9th round controversy, saying Tank's decision to take a knee should have been ruled a knockdown.
I just feel like hopefully this could be the little something that gives Gervonta a little wake-up call to take him back to the mindset of maybe where he was.
Do you think New York State overturns it?
If you take a knee while punches are being thrown and touch the canvas, it has to be a knockdown, Hearn said. Some people say he should have been disqualified for going back to his corner. I don't agree. That's more of a warning. But the whole situation was definitely strange. The New York State Athletic Commission is still reviewing the fight, with no final decision yet. One major takeaway from Saturday's PBC pay-per-view in Brooklyn was how referee Steve Willis's missed knockdown call changed everything. That moment cost Lamont Roach Jr. not just the WBA lightweight title, but also what could have been a career-defining upset over Tank.
You know something funny?
when we was talking in like the 12th round, I think the 12th or 11th, we was talking shit, right? But he like, you ain't gonna win.
Roach, a former amateur rival of Tank, should have been the main story after forcing a controversial majority draw against the minus 1,600 betting favorite at Barclays Center. Instead, the focus shifted to the New York State Athletic Commission, which faced criticism for its lack of transparency. On Monday, the commission blamed a technical issue for their failure to review the instant replay in time. By not ruling Tank's voluntary knee in the 9th round as a knockdown, Roach missed out on a crucial 10-8 round that would have secured him the win. That decision also cost him millions, as he would have gone into their likely rematch as the defending champion.
Why not? What you talking about? They like, they ain't gonna give it to you. I was like, oh, is that right? So, you know, that's how boxing works.
The New York State Athletic Commission has confirmed that its review is still underway. But the biggest question remains, what happened to Tank? After years of dominance, it was shocking to see the 30-year-old Baltimore native struggle against such a massive underdog. But the real surprise wasn't just the fight itself, it was how Roach looked in the ring. Now competing at lightweight, Roach appeared to be the bigger, stronger fighter. He fought with confidence and used his experience from growing up in the same boxing circles as Tank to deliver the best performance of his career.
It's sad to say, you know, that's how boxing works. I'm not, like, totally upset. I figured with a superstar.
The biggest concerns revolve around Tank's mindset and the unusual behavior he displayed before, during, and after the fight. Was this just an off night for one of boxing's pound-for-pound best? Or has he lost the hunger that made him so dominant? It's not uncommon for star fighters to show up late to media events, especially Tank, who arrived nearly 2 hours late to his 2023 press conference with Ryan Garcia. But this time, he took it even further, arriving almost 4.5 hours late to his first media event with Roach in New York, and then showing up 90 minutes late to last Friday's weigh-in. While Tank seemed relaxed and playful throughout fight week, his performance in the ring raised red flags. Twice in the first half of the fight, he turned away from Roach to argue with referee Steve Willis, only to get caught with clean shots in return.
Won't get too much on paper, but shit, I damn sure thought I had it. Especially when they announced the score for him, I was like, oh, they gonna give me a.
Prime video cameras captured more unusual moments from Tank, including him shouting over Calvin Ford's instructions in the corner, repeatedly yelling, "Listen to me," between rounds. Then came the controversial moment in round 9. After Roach landed a series of jabs, Tank started blinking his left eye rapidly, turned his back, and took a knee. He quickly got up and ran to his corner, where Ford wiped his eye with a towel, something that, by the rules, could have resulted in a disqualification. Referee Steve Willis began a mandatory 8 count but stopped at 3, issued a warning, and let the fight continue, preventing what could have been a career-changing moment for Davis.
Decision wins. I was like, oh, yeah. I was like, oh, shit, here it comes. But as soon as I heard that 114, I was just like, damn, all right, it's over with.
Davis's explanation in the post-fight interview was odd, and his reaction didn't match the seriousness of nearly losing his title and unbeaten record. As the crowd booed, it was unclear whether he felt embarrassed or simply didn't care. "I just got my hair done 2 days ago, and she put grease in it, so when I started sweating, it got in my eyes and burned," Davis said. "Damn, why are y'all booing? I'm telling the truth. Come on, man, look at my hair. I just got it done. But it's all good. You know how it is. They love you, then they hate you, then they love you again."
So, yeah, man, it's just crazy. I ain't gonna lie. Like, it's okay. We gonna run it back. It's okay.
Davis, who has a mandatory rematch clause and showed interest in it on social media Monday, seemed more humble when reflecting on his performance at the post-fight press conference. His comments also showed a surprising lack of awareness about the rules. "Nobody likes a draw from a guy who usually gets knockouts, but it's cool," Davis said. "If we fight again, I know I can do more. I should have done more. I lost track of the rounds. That's why we need ring girls. I didn't even know what round it was. Facts."
No.
Can you describe what the feeling was like in the ring? And was it to get the towel out, to get the burn out of your eyes, or what was going on? And
I didn't want to get caught. I didn't want to get caught.
"I didn't want to get caught while my eyes were burning. You can get knocked out like that. So I figured taking a knee was the safer option, Davis admitted. But I didn't realize you could get disqualified for getting help from your corner mid-round. When Willis started counting, I was like, what the hell? But it's cool. While Davis has had tough fights in recent years against opponents like current welterweight champion Mario Barrios and former 140 pounds title holder Isaac Pitbull Cruz, his performance against Roach was the first time he truly looked off since 2017. That year, on the undercard of Floyd Mayweather vs. Conor McGregor, he missed weight and lost his IBF 130 pounds title on the scales. The crowd booed him throughout an uneven fight against Francisco Fonseca, though he still pulled off an 8th-round knockout. Since then, Davis has become a global star, and despite ongoing legal troubles making headlines, those issues never seem to affect his explosive performances until now.
Wow. My eyes was burning. And you know, like, you can get knocked out like that. So I'd rather take the knee than...
What made Davis's performance against Roach even more puzzling was the ongoing talk about his possible retirement. Leading up to the fight, Tank repeatedly hinted that he might be nearing the end of his boxing career, with 2025 potentially being his final year in the ring. In a January interview with Inside Boxing Live, Davis spoke about wanting to step away from the sport to focus on his mental health and being a better father. "That's why I don't want to box anymore," he said. "I want to do therapy, but I feel like if I do, I'd lose the fire inside of me. I want to get everything out so I never think about fighting again or even getting angry. I have 2 girls, and I want them to be softer and more humble." For a fighter who built his career on aggression, power, and a relentless killer instinct, his words suggested a shift in mindset, one that may already be affecting his performances in the ring.
But I didn't really know that you can like get disqualified for all that. Or like when you start counting, I'm like, what the hell? But I don't know.
You have to be true to yourself. If you're forcing it, continuing to do something you no longer want, that's when something is wrong. Davis's words suggest he's facing a bigger battle outside the ring than any he's fought inside it. Wanting a more peaceful life for himself and his family is understandable, but boxing isn't a sport where you can go through the motions. If your heart isn't in it, the risks are high. The ring is the last place for hesitation. Every second pushes a fighter's physical and mental limits. If Davis is truly questioning his future, his next fight, whether against Roach or someone else, will make it clear how much he has left to give.
The decision I want, but we didn't get a loss either, so I felt like I won it, you know, the last couple rounds, so it's cool. Lamont is a great fighter. Hopefully I could get that rematch because I know what I can do in a fight, but it's cool.
Davis is still one of the most explosive and exciting fighters of this generation, and one tough night doesn't erase everything he's accomplished. In boxing, though, you're only as good as your last fight, fair or not. As the controversy from the Roach fight fades and talk of a high-stakes rematch heats up, the real question is whether Tank is still in the game for the right reasons. If he comes back with the right mindset and focus, he has every chance to remind everyone why he's one of the biggest stars in the sport.
Tank, how much does it hurt to have the draw on your record now? And do you think it's going to stand as some sort of like renewed motivation for you?
The rematch seems to be on track, but one big question remains. Will the WBA uphold the draw or change it to a loss? While that decision plays out, Gervonta Davis has some serious adjustments to make, especially when it comes to his corner. For all the latest boxing updates, major events, and key moments, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell so you never miss out on top-tier content. Until next time, peace out.